The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital.
Looking for a pair of shoes? Les Hub Stores has a wide range of selection for unisex footwear. We have the best quality of all brands at pocket-friendly prices, and we make deliveries countrywide. Just place your order or reach us on 0772 08 0090. You can also check up at Les Hub Stores on all our social media platforms. Les Hub, craft your own footprints.
But at the church,
Tawali man, what's up?
man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now, did you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly, because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital. The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Nkwaniriza nnyo ku program Mighty Drive nyongera okulamusaako naawe osinzidde okubanga otulaba tutambula ffenna okutuuka ku ssaawa 4 ez'amakya g'olunaku olwaleero. Nze Omumbejja Luwedde Lilian nkwaniriza nnyo naye ng'olunaku olwaleero kyo tugenda kubanga tugitambuza mu lulimi oluzungu, tujagattamu Oluganda katono katono okusobola oketarenga eri audiences zaffe ate ezaabo aboogera Oluganda. So we're going to be doing these till 10 a.m. in the morning. We are live on our social media platforms. That is the Alternative Uganda and Digital TV. So I welcome you, our viewers, on today's edition of the Mighty Drive. I am Princess Luwedde Lilian, and in the studios I have two gentlemen. Now, one of them has been with us. I mean, it's not his first time to be on the show, and that is none other than Maseruka Sadat. He's a youth leader in the Alliance for National Transformation in the Buganda region. So with him is Mr. Kikwiyakare Humphrey Chris. I hope I've not pronounced it wrongly. So he's a youth and he's aspiring to for the presidential seat come 2026. So he's going to be telling us where this is coming from. We need to get to know more about this. I mean, we've not had many youths look at that seat, but right now it's him. He's actually vying for the presidential seat come 2026. So we are looking at the youth preparedness ahead of the 2026 elections, and that is our topical discussion of the day. So I'm going to give the two gentlemen an opportunity to say hello to our viewers, and then we kick off the discussion from there. I'm going to start with you, Sadat. The usual. I think I should call you the usual suspect.
Yes.
Oh, it's okay. Sorry, we can take it on.
It's fine. Yes, dear viewers, Sadat Maseruka is my name. Yes, I'm happy to be here once more again yes, to discuss on how we as young people can be part of the discussion table in the politics of this country. Okay. So it's a privilege, and I'm delighted to be here.
Thank you so much. I mean, tell us what is now going on in the Alliance for National Transformation right now, because you guys seem to be quiet, silent in one way or the other. We need to know.
That question is always the first question that I happen to face whenever I'm to discuss any topic or to appear in the media. But I think we have constantly and elaborately discussed and talked about that our mode of operation is not that what makes one feel that they will always have a feel of what is happening, but a lot is happening in the political part of. And in this, as you stated, that we shall be having grassroots structures, which I don't believe that they will be built when we do roadside shows, when we are on top of the roofs of the vehicles waving at people. We have to go down in the villages and have a real discussion with the actual people. So currently we are in Abunyoro sub-region, and we are building structures. So that is happening.
That is what is happening in the party. Thank you so much, Maseruka Sadat, for joining us today's morning. Now let me cross over to the presidential aspirant, Mr. Chris Humphrey.
Yes, please.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Say hello to our viewers.
Oh, I think first and foremost, I am so glad to be hosted here today. It's my first time to be hosted in regards to my presidential ambition for the 2026 general election. And I am honored for the invitation at Digital TV. I'm glad to be here today. We'll talk at length as far as the journey is concerned.
Well,
thank you.
That's actually good. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. So we need to know more about you. Who is Humphrey Chris? I won't pronounce the other name because I might end up pronouncing it wrongly.
True. Humphrey Chris Kikwiyakare is a devoted Pan-Africanist. He's not a Ugandan. He's an African. He's not an Acholi. He's a Ugandan. He's a Pan-Africanist. That's who I am, and I am an assistant nursing officer by profession and a prospective student of medicine and surgery at the Makerere University. That's briefly who I am. The rest we'll talk about it along the way.
Okay.
Thank you.
So where does this come from for you to vie for the presidential seat? How did it start and how did we even reach here?
Yeah, true. It's a very interesting question. I have personally followed the politics of our country. Yeah, I'm not a born of the 80s. Okay. I'm not neither a born of, okay, back then, I'm not a born of it. I'm a born of 90s. But I took interest to follow the politics of Uganda. And one thing that amuses me is the fact that is that total fabricated lie that we have been forced to believe against the tears of the spirits of those that fought and died for it 38 years ago. The lie that the NRM liberated our country. If I may ask, do you know why President Museveni keeps on coming to run for presidency time and again? Do you? Do you think President Museveni is the best candidate the NRM has? No. It's because
is the best candidate.
No. The thing is,
most people are saying that without President Museveni, there is no NRM.
Exactly. Without President Museveni, there is no NRM.
So
and do you know why?
Best candidate.
And do you know why? And do you know why? Not that he's the best candidate. The thing is simple. This is not the Uganda President Museveni fought for in the bush for 5 years with these rebels in Luwero. This is not the Uganda President Museveni fought for. President Museveni fought for a better Uganda, a Uganda with zero tolerance to corruption, a Uganda with an integrated economy that can sustain our health sector, that can sustain the education system. But is that what we have at the moment? Ugandans pay taxes, but there is no value for the taxes they pay. How many businesses are operating in Kampala at the moment as we speak? Do you get the value for the taxes you pay? The roads are dilapidated. Must we first go and plant bananas on the roads for the roads to be worked upon? But we have been paying taxes. We paid taxes yesterday. Today I came here with a border. I paid my taxes on the fuel.
So this is what pushed you to vie for president.
What does push me to vie for president is one. The Uganda President Museveni went to the bush with his rebels to fight for is not the current Uganda we are living in. That Uganda was so beautiful. That Uganda was against corruption. That Uganda was against nepotism. That Uganda was a Uganda that would inclusively bring everyone on board. But this is not the Uganda. So I want us to fight and bring back that Uganda home. And that's why we are here. And we will fight as young people until we bring that Uganda back home. Out of excitement, President Museveni left that Uganda in the bush as he was coming for his swearing in ceremony in Kampala.
But I believe there are certain things that have been done.
Like what? True, there are certain things that have been done. But when you look at the lifespan, you have been in power for 38 years. And the roads of Kampala, the capital city of the country, is in that sort of state. And you say there are certain things that have been done.
Roads have been constructed.
Where? Where are the roads?
So there are no... you want to say that President Museveni, for the time he has been in power, there is nothing he has done. Is it what you want to say? I
am saying there are things he has done, fine. But you can't compare with the time he has been in power. President Amin was in power for about 9 years. Can you compare what Amin did with what Museveni has done for the time he has been in power? What I mean is, my point is simple and it is one. If I have been in power for 5 years, I should do something commensurate to the 5 years.
And what is it you want to do for the Ugandans? What is it you're going to change that for the time that President Museveni has been in power hasn't done?
Number one, I want the country to work for us all. We need a country that your children and my children will not be given jobs because the employees know you, the mother. Is that the Uganda we have today? Is that the Uganda we have today? But this is the Uganda Museveni fought for. Is that the Uganda we have today? That our businesses would be started and would thrive past their first birthdays before their death. Is that the Uganda we have today? Is that the Uganda we have today? That the traders would pay taxes and then they would get value for it. Right now, traders are on strikes. When you go to town, the arcades are closed. Why? Because we have had what is called misplaced priorities under the NRM rule. The NRM government has always given us misplaced priorities. We are trying to milk Ugandans in every aspect as far as heavy taxation is concerned, but we don't get the value for taxes. I want to tell you one thing. As a country, we are blessed to have very disciplined and cooperative citizens that can pay their taxes heavily. But our question is, do we get the value for the taxes we pay? We don't.
So those are the things you want to change.
I want the citizens to get the value for the taxes they pay. That's the Uganda I want. If I have paid my taxes, do I get the value? I get the value in terms of healthcare system. I get the value in terms of education system. I get the value in terms of infrastructure, the roads we are talking about. This is how we get the value for the taxes we pay. Ugandans are so cooperative. I love that.
Okay. So have you been a leader before?
Yes, please. I've been a leader before. And one thing I've always told people back in our in my community where I come from, they say you can't start climbing a tree from the top. Have you ever heard that statement before?
Yes,
Is that true? What do you make of that? Is that statement true? That you can't climb a tree from
How will
the
you
top?
reach the top? You've not taken the steps.
Now, there's something I have added on that statement. I disagree with that statement that you can't climb a tree from the top. Now, had that statement today that it is true you can't climb a tree from the top, but it depends on your knee. You can't tell a giraffe that you can't climb a tree from the top. So it depends on you, the person. If I am the giraffe, you can't tell me that I need to start climbing a tree from the root.
Of course.
So I am the
There are
giraffe.
spots where the giraffe will not reach it.
Then I am the giraffe. So we are going to change the system from up there. The reason why I have decided to go straight for presidency is because our constitution gives the president power to do everything. And if that president is pro-people, then I'm telling you everything can work out well.
I want to cross over to Sadat, but before I do, how long have you had this? I mean, when did actually, not even how long, but when did you start this? When did you start on this journey of vying for the presidential seat? It's
been for quite some time now, but I made it public this year.
Oh,
yes, I made an official declaration that I would run for president of the Republic of Uganda in the 2026 general election. Yes, please. Okay. I'm going to be coming back to you shortly. So let me first cross over to the way Sadat is looking at you. It's as if he has a lot of questions. But Sadat, yes. If you look at the performance of the young people in the 2021 elections, it wasn't pleasing, but then it wasn't so bad. Now we're going for 2026. Are you seeing any change? Are you seeing a difference when it comes to the performance of the young people in the 2026 elections?
I don't know the basis of your statistics to state that the performance of the young people was, I don't know if it was dismal or worrying or not in any way substantial, but I would like to remind you that the major components that make the elections in this country for the last 15 years, if not 20, they are the young voters. And it is on record that...
they term us as noisemakers?
Yes, and it is in that noise that you'll ask yourself, why should always people go to the noisemakers? Because they're the ones that they turn into votes. Also, you'll find that the majority of the candidates, especially you ignore the presidents, on all lower positions, the majority of the candidates were the young people. So I don't see how we performed in a dismal way, unless we are talking about the presidency. There we can have
even these other positions.
In the other positions, if you look at the current parliament, 72% it is between the age of 32 to 18. So why are you saying that? Actually, that is the debate that I would like to have on this station. That are we supposed to be agitating for having what we call youth structures to elect a youth MP, when definitely the people that are going to vote for a substantial MP are the very people that are hiding themselves to choose a youth MP. The majority of the people that are going to vote, they are going to vote a young person to represent them as the substantive MP. But now they require to hide themselves into a delegates conference to hold a youth, to elect a youth MP. That is sheer hypocrisy. I'm asking myself, we have a national youth MP, a national youth female MP, who in my position, in my submission, would have been actually having the popularity equal to that of the president. He will be the national female youth MP. That means at least you must be popular amongst the young people all across the country. But you'll find that there's a similar clique, a small section of the young people that hide themselves in an hotel and they claim that they are representing the interests of the young people.
I brought about the issue of 2021 elections. If you look at the people who, the active participants were few.
Okay.
And then now, right now, most of them are shying away from now participating again, and they're like, now even when we participate, nothing is going to change. And then others are now just noisemakers on social media. Others are doing certain things. And then you wonder how it's going to be in 2026.
It is going to be in 2026 more agitation and more increase in the participation of young people in politics. We should understand that this is a transitional period. As others are getting frustrated with the system, there are those that are growing out of the youth bracket, and there are those that are joining. So the major focus should always be on to those that the first-time voters. If you ask yourself how many people are now into the universities that are seeing politics as the only way to change their livelihood, you will find that there are those that have been in the game for some time and they believe that now I've done my part, it's time to rule the youth bracket. But our performance, especially on the top seat in this country, has been marred by a lot of historical challenges. One, we come from a background that we believe that we should always have respect for elders.
Yes.
In that regard, you'll find that a young man contested in the elections of the 2021, and the first question was, can't you have respect for those that are older than you? And it is also a tool of control. Secondly, the system of commercialization of politics. We are young people here, and we are seated in this room. And Humphrey, I cannot also pronounce the other name, wants to contest as the president. But what will come out of the mind of a person that is following, you will even look at the comments. Someone will ask, does he have the money? Does he have the money to run the campaign? And he's not speaking, he's speaking literally. But the reality is, does he have the money to bribe us? So the people that are talking of such scenarios are the young people. Now, you will find that they are tying the potential of a young person like Humphrey, who wants to be their president, on what he can give them to survive within that very period. So the commercialization of politics, and we are versing the old guard, is that I've seen it all. For instance, you would like to get money to survive your family, at the same time to do service to your country. So you cannot do both. You cannot run an election at the expense of your family. But again, you cannot claim that I belong to a certain class of people. Which class of people want favors so that they can vote for you? So the performance.
But now that is the trend in Uganda. The
trend is wrong, and the trend has been nurtured to frustrate the efforts and ideas of the young people, because clearly it is seen that a young person will not have the billions of money to move around the country to give people, especially fellow young people that are very poor, that don't have jobs, and at the same time are looking for food for the day, seeking for the vote.
But this is what we've been having in the 2026 elections, 2021 elections. It's the same thing, commercialization of politics. So how do we go away from this? Because it seems the people who have money are using that money to get votes, to buy voters. And then for a young person who doesn't have money, is actually left behind, and that is the reason as to why most of them are not even participating in active politics.
It is a realization that we must come up to. Whoever tried to play the game they are playing has dismally performed, and they have failed terribly. It is coming back to the consciousness of our population. It is quite embarrassing and demoralizing when a young person presents themselves for a vote and say that I want to be your president. And it is the very constituency that they belong into that will have more demands from a fellow young person than from the old guard. It goes about back to arising and realization of our consciousness. And that is why I often emphasize it here, that in the Alliance we realize that there are certain things that we must do differently, and they must take time to do. And one of them is to consciously awaken the thinking of one for the young people and the general population at large by doing things differently. Moving at a pace that is slower when you are sure is more important than panicking and just fall into what is already existing. The opportunities that we have as using such platforms like the digital is to tell the people, is to sensitize the young people that however much you may feel that you need to be facilitated so that somebody can be your president, it is that same person that is going to now, after 1 or 2 years, will come to collect that money, and he will collect that money harshly through taxes. Currently, you are no longer working. The arcades are locked. They are proposing new taxes. On top of that, we are still agitating for the current existing taxes, but there is a proposal to increase on taxes on other things. So now, even where you may be hiding in your chapati stalls and anywhere, they will come and say, now you are buying so much chapatis, you're making a lot of profits here. Government needs a share. But you forget that while the area MP was canvassing for votes, he bought cartons of chapatis. He knows how much they cost and how much money you make. You probably lied to him that you are making in a day, because you seduced him to give you money for his vote. And he will also say, no, these people earn a living and we must survive. So it is all about going back to the consciousness of the people, and also to be bold enough and stand up and say that, yes, I want to be president of this country. It's not an easy task. It's not an easy ambition to have and to declare. You have asked my colleague, why does he want to start crying from the top? The question is, what's wrong from starting from the top? Because yes, there is a Chinese saying that if you see the bottle is half full, someone will say, no, for me it is half empty.
You see, they tell us experience is the best teacher. So the time he would have spent like going through all these other positions, all these other leadership positions would also have helped me. When he reaches the top, he knows what to do and where to start from.
You see that this comes back now to us believing in ourselves. I passionately believe that the gentleman holding this camera did not in any way participate in this production. He was brought, given an opportunity. He's now manning this camera. So a young person can become a president. And from day one, learn how to be a president.
Maybe if I'm to interject a bit.
Okay.
What you are trying to say is that experience is the best teacher. It is true.
That
experience.
Is a saying, yes.
Yeah, it is saying. It is true. Experience is the best teacher. But I want to tell Ugandans that as we speak now, our country has been laid into the grave. And the more times we waste and say, let us first get experience, the faster it reaches the basement of the grave. When their gates are closed, what kind of experience do we need? So that their gates are open. I need to first become an LC1 so that I learn that actually we don't need to be closing our gates. Right? Do we need to first be LC1 before we become president so that we learn that we are not supposed to tax the people of Uganda heavily? Do we need? All we need is to be human. And I am a human being. Being the president just requires a human being, not a robot. So, and then there is nothing new that a president will bring on table. Everything has been stipulated. I'm not a dictator. It's not the dictators who need to first learn how to squeeze people. But when things are well stipulated, that as far as our constitution is concerned, this is what is expected of the president. You think the people who founded our country are...
I would really love to hear more of your manifesto.
It's a very interesting thing. One, I told you at the beginning that I am a Pan-Africanist. That is at the back of my mind.
Yes.
And I am a patriot. Two things summarize my manifesto. If I am patriotic, being patriotic means you love your country. Being patriotic means you understand and know your country. What is your country? What is that country called Uganda? Uganda is you, my neighbor. Uganda is our land. Uganda is that environment. If I am patriotic, I will protect the environment of Uganda. If I am patriotic, I will embrace what the Ministry of Water and Environment are stable, that we need to protect our environment. One thing that we have taken for granted is the fact that Uganda is the Pearl of Africa. But I can say this before camera, that Uganda is as polluted as the number of years NRM has been in power. When you go to Kampala, that's the capital city. I like referring to Kampala a lot, and trust me. Because when I am outside Uganda, there's only one place the world knows. That is Kampala. They will say the Kampala has decided. You understand? Not Rachitura. Okay? So, our environment is crippled, but it was because of the beauty of our environment that we were called the Pearl of Africa. But what do we have? Investors have flooded our swamps. Today I was on the border coming here. The roads are flooded everywhere. Why? Because we have decided to throw rubbish into the trenches, and they are blocked.
Now those are the Ugandans who are doing so.
There are Ugandans who are doing so. Because when we banned the Kaveras, then when the Kavera was banned in the country, what happened? We said these people are giving us a lot of taxes. Let us, leave the production to go on. These are Ugandans, right?
Yeah.
What does the president, do you know how much power the president has? He has the capacity to say no from today on. You saw the power. If those people who died before COVID-19 did not see the power of the president. Did not see. Me, I saw the power of the president during COVID-19. That's when I understood that this guy called the president has power. You saw it. If Museveni, if the president has that power, he can do the same in all the other sectors. The gentleman can wake up one day and fire all the corrupt government officials, and that is it. Simple. How long do I need experience to do that? You need experience to wake up and fire every corrupt official in this country. Do you need experience? That's why I do not want anyone to talk about experience when someone is running for presidency. No. You just need to be human. That you understand, for example, the problem of the people of Karamoja. What are their problems? Are the problems of the people of Karamoja shelters that we prescribe for them iron sheets? That is what is called misplaced priorities. My good friend from Alliance here has just told you a few things. Let me tell you something. In Uganda, we have had what is called misplaced priorities. I am hungry and you are giving me iron sheets. That is called misplaced priorities. And then before the iron sheets even reach me, you go and then steal it on the way. And then a minister wakes up one day and says, Mr. President, I am sorry. And do you know a corrupt official apologizing to the president?
And the
you have the gas.
The president took action.
The president took action. Which action did he take? You can tell the listeners, which action did the president take? By the time I can corrupt something and I still go...
Ministers were replaced.
Were replaced.
For Karamoja affairs and then that.
So we needed to first wait for a reshuffle so that we replace them, right? Is that the Uganda he fought for? He fought for a zero tolerance to corruption Uganda. You get the point? So leave alone that. I told you if I am patriotic. That is, I picked just a few things about environment, environmental sustainability. On top, I told you I am a Pan-Africanist. The African Continental Free Trade Area. Because I know what that has in regards to making Africa the Africa we want.
Okay. Let's go in for a very short commercial break. When we return, the discussion continues from there. We are talking about the youth preparedness ahead of the 2026 elections. There is more that we are going to be discussing in the second hour, so let's break shortly. When we return, the two gentlemen are going to be we're going to be discussing about how the youths are preparing themselves for the 2026 elections, but also Mr. Chris is going to be telling us more of what he's going to be doing when he becomes the president of Uganda. So the discussion continues from there. It's still the Mighty Drive.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi, Rogers. Can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes, it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital.
Go to the church, though.
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now, recorder. Did you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Welcome back from that short break. It's still the Mighty Drive, and I am Princess Luwedde Lilian. In the studios, I have Maseruka Sadat from the Alliance for National Transformation. He is a youth leader in the party representing the youths in Buganda region. And then we have Mr. Humphrey, who is vying for a presidential seat come 2026. I may not pronounce the other name, the surname, due to certain reasons I don't want to mess up. But we are talking about the youth preparedness ahead of the 2026 elections. How are the young people prepared for this? The Electoral Commission released the roadmap last year, and then now after releasing the roadmap, we expected to see something, but unfortunately, it seems people are still hiding in the undercover, while others are doing what? I really don't know. But according to Mr. Maseruka, he told us that they are building structures and now they're in Bunyoro region. So he's going to be telling us about the youth wing in the Alliance for National Transformation and certain things that are going on right now. Have they done anything? Have they, come up to say anything about what is going on in the country? There's a lot that has happened. And then we're not seeing the young people coming out to condemn certain acts or to do something or to put up something to show that they're also involved in what is going on in the country. Most of them are just, saying, Mnange, we are leaving those for the big boys. It's not me who is supposed to do this, or it's not me who is supposed to do this. But then we are having the biggest population in the country. Have we used the numbers to call for change? I think let me first start with Mr. Maseruka.
Yes.
There is a lot that is going on right now, and then the young people seem to be leaving these things to the big men and the big women. They're like, no, this is not our thing, this is not our thing. To you, what picture does this paint for the 2026 elections?
It paints a picture that we are seated on a time bomb. If you have the majority of the population seem to be disinterested in what's going on in the affairs of their country, just know they cannot just sit there and ignore. They have chosen another form of expressing their dissent and realizing that this current avenue of coming in elections in and out may not be the viable solution. So it is worrying, and it must be known that world over, the young people cannot just ignore the politics of the day as it determines their livelihood. There must be a continuous engagement and knowing as to why there is a discernment or a huge disparity between the young people and their participation in politics. And we are trying as the Youth League of the Alliance
for National Transformation.
Alliance for National Transformation. And we are not leaving anything to the big men. But as the system had been structured, is that because most of us believe that when we are amidst our elders, we always have to follow guidance.
Yes.
And in this regard, we embarked on very different campaigns as the Youth League and as the mainstream political party. You'll find that the mainstream is more involved in building structures of the party. We are more involved in awakening and consciously awakening and raising the consciousness of the young people. Why? It is the frustration amongst the people especially in the bracket of 23 to 29, they have resorted to being insultive. They have resorted to putting their frustrations and anger onto social media other than making it physically known and having substantial solutions to that.
Because after the 2021 elections, most of the young people now
so you should, but
disappeared in one
yes,
way or the
but
other.
after the 2021 elections and up to now, there is at least a paradigm shift that there has been a tone down on the frustration that people have been venting on social media. The gullibility, the insults that have been meted on social media are now reducing, but you cannot now claim and say that because the Alliance for National Transformation-Uganda League embarked on the element of trying to talk to the young people. Please, let us disagree, but in an agreeable manner. You cannot know unless you talk about such things. But we inherited an environment that was so toxic that a lot of radicalization had happened, but we resolved that this is not the way to go. We have to make sure that at least we have a kind of population of young people that are politically conscious, but they have ways of expressing themselves that does not demean, is not insultive, and we are moving in that right direction. And in your acknowledgement, you are saying there is a change, and at least you should acknowledge that it is the agenda of the ANT, and we are moving in that specific direction. However, while Humphrey was talking about his manifesto, he brought out an element that I will always emphasize, that being a young person, it's not all about our biological features, that because somebody is between 18 and maybe 30, that automatically that person can be or can lead the young people. The young people must be led by ideas. The young people must be led by transformative ideas that are going to take them from one step to another.
Yes.
And they should not be given hope or given ideas that are in abstract. Whereas I agree that we must have a Pan-African view of things as the young people, but we must also look at the localization of these things. How does a Ugandan see himself in a Pan-African country?
Yes.
You look at the country like South Africa. They are going for elections in the month of May. You will find that the what is shaping the ideas of people is the issue of immigrants, the issue of one section of the population stating that we are Pan-Africanists, therefore everybody is welcome here to do business. Others are saying that the people that are here, but they are taking over our businesses. How can we be Pan-Africanists when we ourselves don't have what to eat, but we are giving our opportunities to the foreigners? So I would like to be empathetic about this. What a candidate, however young we may be, what is your solution to the alarming youth unemployment?
Yeah.
What is your solution? What is your issues to the rising cost of education in Uganda? Not being a Pan-Africanist.
That isn't enough.
That is in abstract, because if you tell me being a Pan-Africanist, I will know that I will have to treat a Kenyan like a Ugandan,
Yes.
which is very okay. But how will me and you as Ugandan live before even accommodating a Kenyan or a person from Rwanda or Tanzania? So the issue is the candidates that we must have must carry themselves as people with aspirations of the young people. I would like to give again another example of a certain politician in the United States. He's called Bernie Sanders. Sanders is 87 years old, if I'm not mistaken. He may be now 89. But when Bernie Sanders comes for an election, he takes all the youth vote at the age of 87. Why? Because his manifesto, his ideas are the ones the young people associate with. Young people believe that fees must fall. Young people believe that why should they pay for high levels of fees, and in the actual sense they believe they receive substandard level of education. Why should they invest so much in education when they are not guaranteed of a job? Why would somebody invest or open up a small business, a small boutique, a small phone sales shop, and they are subjected to high taxes when they are young? So it is such voices coming out that will bring the young people on board to support a certain idea. It is, and I'm stating it here, that it's not because I will parade myself that I look like you, I don't have gray hair, I can run a mile, I can do that, I am a young person, they will critically look and ask themselves, what is in the package of this young person that is young? I request my colleague that whereas being an-Africanist
and a patriot,
and being a patriot, the first thing that he wants to serve his country is a patriot. But whereas by then we talked of a very good element of the African Free Continental Trade Area. But you ask yourself that, yes, I'm a Ugandan businessman. What am I going to sell in that market? So the issue is around the welfare, the sustainability of the young person to believe and feel that they're Ugandans. You cannot tell a person or a Ugandan that is currently in the Arabian Peninsula that I'm a Pan-Africanist, please vote for me. They would like to know how are they going to, how are their remittances from their hard-earned money not going to be taxed? How are they going to have ease? What laws are going to protect them when they have gone to work for the Arabs? How are they going to be facilitated if they come back so that they are in a position to use that money to invest themselves so that they are not always going to be perennial workers in the Arabian Peninsula? So it is these things that are actually sending even the young people away from voting. If you look critical about it. And it is also these things that make the young people say that you have said nothing, you give us money and go. Because you come with a manifesto that is abstract, not detailed enough, not actually capturing the section of the people or what they want to hear. A Buddha rider would like to know how much money you're going to reduce on fuel. Not telling them that we shall have a borderless economy whereby you can go and sell your things in Congo. No, for him he drives a border from Machine to Kampala. He pays fuel. They're telling him you're going to pay an increment of 1% on the fuel. How are you going to reduce on that? How are you going to tackle that? How are you in that position to make sure that this does not happen on behalf of the young people? So,
and I believe he's going to be answering all that.
All right.
Thank you so much, Mr. Maseruka. Over to you, Mr. Humphrey.
Yes, thank you so much, my brother. The aspect of Pan-Africanism is one difficult complex that young people do not understand. I want to tell you, you can go to Makerere University, for example. That's a very powerful university in the country. It is very hard to get someone who understands what Pan-Africanism is. Okay? Now, I brought the aspect of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Sample, go to a class and sample people and to check their understanding about that. You know, there's what is called fiscal policy. You understand? For us to thrive, for us to reduce the taxes on the fuel we are talking about, our economy must thrive, okay? There is what makes a country a superpower is because of the economy. When the economy is crippled, the education sector is crippled. The health sector is crippled. Everything is crippled. So we need to look at how do we embrace the economy. The African Continental Free Trade Area has 3 protocols. Movement of people, right? Movement of goods and services, and solving disputes, okay? Now, Ugandans, when you look at Ugandans, we have 2 categories. The other category of people is talking about the border people who do not understand how the African Continental Free Trade Area works. You get? They are there, fine, I agree with you. So your submission was answering their concerns. But we have these people who understand how do we boost the economy. How do we integrate the economy? You have talked about the youth unemployment in Uganda, for example. The African Continental Free Trade Area has a protocol on movement of people like you, okay? We have business opportunities for a country to survive. We must boost the economy. How do we boost the economy when we are taking our meal products from banana from our matoke from Uganda to Kenya, then we can't access the border because the market, we might not have the market in this country. You get? So if a young man as a businessman, a young man has been taught about business. A young man is doing a business, and a young man knows, for me to access Kenya, I am not going to be taxed heavily. And I will sell. The market of matoke is in Kenya. And I am going to take my matoke to Kenya to sell. I will not be taxed heavily. I will not be harassed at the border. What are we talking about? The market is available. That is the African continental freedom. I don't disagree with you with the elements of the other people saying the immigrant, now you are taking away our jobs. Such things are there. And it is there simply because the young people have not been empowered. People do not understand that aspect. Okay? People just do not understand what Pan-Africanism is all about. My friend, we have the Africa Agenda 2063. Everything has been in the paperwork, in the framework. But what is missing is the sensitization bit of it. I can bet you, if you take 10 young people, educated young people, degrees, holders, you can hardly understand someone, you can only hardly get someone who understands what African Continental Free Trade Area is. But this document has been passed, it is there. People do not want to read and understand what this thing is all about. So now, in the African Continental Free Trade Area, we're trying to look at how do we expand the market? How do we expand the market? Okay? How do I go and get a job in Kenya, for example? I have studied in Uganda, but the job market in Uganda cannot accommodate all of us. But how do I get to Kenya and get a job? How do we make the Kenyans accept me to work with them and do not look at me as if someone who has come to take away their jobs? That is the sensitization bit of it. That is lacking. When my brother was making his presentation, I got to understand one thing. The African Continental Free Trade Area has not been given to people to understand what this is all about. Why? Because this aspect is being discussed by the heads of states. We are leaving the young people out of it. That is how we boost the economy. You are working in Kenya, okay? You are working in Kenya, and then you are getting your salaries. You're coming back to Uganda, and you are investing in this country, okay? So we're trying to expand and make.
Not all of them are coming back to invest in the country, my dear.
Fine. Some of them do.
How will we be able to grow our economy if at all the people who are going out and not coming back to invest in their country?
Then that means we need to make our country conducive for the investments. How? Let us not tax these people heavily. And if we are to tax them, let us make them understand the value for the taxes. Now, if you are the one, for example, you are paying a lot of taxes to this country, and then the roads are like these ones of Kampala. You get the point? That is what discourages the young people, okay, from coming back to invest in this country, because the roads are bad. I am going to take my matoke, I am going to transport my matoke from maybe Rukunjiri and bring it to Kampala, but then every checkpoint, the police has to first, squeeze me here and there. You get the point? So that is the discouragement we're talking about. Now, in terms of the manifesto bit of it, when you asked me, we immediately went for a break, okay? We didn't talk about manifesto here. We didn't talk about manifesto yet. If we are to talk about
two things.
No, I told you those two things summarize. It is like, now when I talk about that, number one, I want the economy to thrive because I know what it means. When the economy is thriving, then I have what is called a 6 or nothing principle. Okay? In the 6 or nothing principle, as the president, I would use my influence, use my resources, use my power to influence the 6 or nothing principle. In the 6 or nothing principle, we are trying to attend to the regional balance. As government, we want to sit and say, we want to embrace sports, for example, in the country. And for us to embrace sports in the country, I'm just picking an example, for us to embrace sports in this country, because the young people are very talented. We are blessed that we have young people who can go and play football without soccer shoes, without the boots, right? Do we see them? They are there. So we want to embrace sports, for example, in the country. But do we have the capacity to construct 6 stadiums? 6, not just in Kampala only. Do we have the capacity to construct 6? If we do, 6 means if one is going to be in central, another one in the north, another one in the east, another one in maybe Karamoja, for example. If we have the capacity to construct all the 6 standard at once, then we say the project can start, right? If we don't have the capacity, we'll come back and say, what can we manage apart from that one? For now, what is it that we can manage?
So
Okay,
what is the
that
fix
one
or nothing principle about?
it is to address the issue of regional imbalance in the country, so that not everything should be concentrated in Kampala. One thing I want to do as president immediately is to decongest Kampala. Not every ministry is supposed to be in Kampala. Okay? Imagine we have a ministry right in Karamoja, and I am the minister for Karamoja, and the roads of Karamoja are bad. I use those roads every day because that's where my office is. Imagine there is insecurity in Karamoja, and I am a minister, and I am based in Karamoja. Do you know how much I would pressurize the president to attend to that? Because I am feeling the insecurity myself, but the ministry of the minister of Karamoja Affairs sits in Kampala, and Karamojongs are dying of hunger, and there is insecurity in Karamoja. The minister sits in Kampala. You expect the Karamojongs to be attended to when the minister sits here and the minister does not feel the pinch of insecurity. You understand? So that is not only the aspect. When we decongest Kampala, throw this ministry to West Nile, throw this one to North, throw this one to the East, throw this one to Karamoja, decongest Kampala, regional imbalance will lead to 0. That is what Museveni fought for. He has done the contrary. You understand? That is one. Secondly, how do we fight corruption? For example, my friend, we need to fight corruption. What has kept Ugandans very frustrated is corruption. I pay a lot of taxes, but someone is eating my money. In what? In service award. Yeah? 500 million. I saw my good friend Nandala Mafab proposed to Parliament that the outgoing, Attorney General who is about to retire is supposed to be given 1 billion shillings. Our collective taxes are being given to one person in service. Remember, that person has what is called a retirement package already. But then now they have said, let us give him a service award, 500. Then the Parliament reduced it from 1 billion. That is an opposition, by the way. Nandala Mafabi is in FDC. He's an opposition, but he's proposing 1 billion for someone who is going to retire today with a lot of retirement packages. And then the Parliament reduced to 500 million. Service awards, right? That is the country we are living in.
When we actually went for the break, you told us that we are the ones who give them the powers they have. So we are the ones who give them the powers they have. So that means the problem of Uganda is in the system of governance. That is where the problem is. And how are you planning?
The problem is not the president. Sometimes the problem is in the system of governance.
How are you planning on changing that?
Smash everything and we start afresh. Let us draw these things from the word go. Say, if, for example, you are retiring and these are the only things you do, not anyone can wake up and say, we have to give this one what? A service reward. You get the point? Because it's just, I told you, it's about being human. It's about being human, okay? That is one thing. Secondly, about the electoral, my friend said the young people are getting, frustrated with the electoral process because even you said, even if you go for election, the result is the same. Do you know where
that is what they say.
That's what they say. You say the result is always the same. Why? Because we have made the president to appoint the electoral commission himself. Even if today the president appoints you, my sister, as the chairman electoral commission, would you declare that Museveni has lost the election? Let's be honest here. I want us to be very, very honest. There is no complete independence of the electoral commission.
And where does this come from? Where exactly is the root cause of this?
The root cause is that when we were when the parliament enacted the Electoral Commission Act, they gave the power of appointing the members of the Electoral Commission to the president. To the president. Okay? They gave the power of appointing the commissioners of the Electoral Commission to the president. And there are 7. All of them have been appointed by the president. The president is directly in charge of these people. There is no independence in the arms of governance of Uganda. We have the judiciary there, the parliament there, and then the executive. The president hates the executive directly. Then the other one there, he hates them indirectly. You get the point? So if the president has the power to appoint the commissioners of the electoral commission, and then for us we take our hits there, that the results will be the same. We are fooling ourselves. Why? Because number one, you should look at the NRM government as a group of rebels who took office. They have taken power. These are rebels. Their approaches are very different.
Do you believe that elections could bring about change?
Absolutely no.
So why are you going to participate in this?
I am going to participate in this election, one, because I am trying to, I am that one person, that one candidate who is trying to bring all these dependent systems of Museveni together. I have understood who Museveni is.
Because now you're saying the elections can't bring about change, and then you're participating in them.
Election used not to bring change.
And then we are seeing the same electoral commission.
It's the same electoral commission
organizing these elections.
Organizing these elections.
That same electoral commission that was appointed.
That same electoral commission that was appointed by President Museveni is the same electoral commission that is going to organize this election. But do you know what my approach is? On a personal ground. Look at these people on a personal ground. The electoral commission, the members, the commissioners there are human beings like us. They're human beings like us. They're human beings like us. People say President Museveni has the army and the police and the likes. Show this man, show my brother, Justice Biamukama, that my friend, for the sake of the people of this country. Let the results be as the people have decided. But if you go loggerheads with these people, you abuse the electoral commission, you abuse the chief justice. And these are the people that the electoral commission declares that Museveni has won the election and you have lost. You are going to run to the chief justice to appeal. And last time you are abusing the man who is doing nothing. You see, that is the problem. That is the problem I have witnessed with some opposition. They want to, knock heads with everyone. So now, my approach is one. I understand the pressure under which the electoral commission operates. It is not independent. You understand? It is not independent.
And it's what is going to organize the
It is what is going to organize the electoral commission is only independent in the name. But we don't want the independence of the name. We want the independence of the people.
I would love to also know what you're going to do to answer the youth question.
In regards to?
I think I'll put it in general, because the young people have been complaining that they're left behind. In things
the young people have been left behind in so many things. One, my brother here, when he was making a submission, he said, in the break, because I think that was in the break, he said, he sees no reason why we should have, youth members of parliament, right? Personally, I also see no reason why we should have youth members of parliament. I don't see any reason why we should have youth members of parliament.
And yet we are under the marginalized groups of people. Women are also under that. And
so listen. So, does having youth members of parliament stop us from being marginalized? Why don't we then address what makes us marginalized first? Okay? So the thing is one, if only and only we would make the National Youth Council powerful and independent, that would be the best thing. So then we will not need to have youth members of parliament. Okay? We just needed to have a strong National Youth Council. And this should be the format. I have proposed. This should, if we are to have a functional National Youth Council, then the election should change. Their format of election should change. Every registered political party in this country that is represented in parliament should have send their representatives to the National Youth Council. Okay? Straight, like my brother, if by chance Alliance gets represented in the next parliament, then Alliance as a party, Alliance for National Transformation as a party would sit and say, these are the people that should represent us at the National Youth Council. Okay? Then the NRM will equal representation. It should be equal representation. If Alliance is presenting 5, NRM should also present 5. All the other UPC 5, GEMA 5, NUP 5. Then let these young people sit and debate issues. You get the point. But if you make the National Youth Council function the way it is another organ of the NRM. The same thing with the youth members of parliament. All of them are members of the NRM. So you expect these people to bring in a different approach? Absolutely no. Because you can't cut the hand that fits with honey. You understand? This system has been crippled. You know, Museveni has crippled. He has locked everything. So me, that is what I propose. If we are to have a functional National Youth Council, then that should be the representation. Then you bring people, let them have their debates. Should be a mini sort of a debate. We'll come and debate. What do we say about the traders? What is our stand in regards to traders' cry? What is our stand in regards to the health system? What is our regard in regards to the education system? What is our regards in regards to the economy?
And right now we are not seeing that.
We're not seeing that because they are the same. That is the same system. You can't expect anything new. You can't. You get the point. If we are to have a functional National Youth Council, that is the kind of representation we should embrace. I have tried pushing it for that thing. I have pushed for it. But I'm telling you, this country, there are so many things happening in the dark that we don't know. I gave up on that. Then I said the only way to bring that to light is when I become the president and I say, ladies and gentlemen, the people of the Republic of Uganda, this is what we need. Let these people discuss, and then whatever they have discussed, let them bring to the national parliament and say, what is the stand of the young people? And in my government, I want to have what is called the National Elders Forum. In this National Elders Forum, these are the people who would always go to and consult and say, what do we do about this? And the National Elders Forum should be having former presidents, okay? Former presidents, and I know I will be the first person. Because when I hand over power, former presidents should be the one, the National Elders Forum. You run and consult. Just imagine we have the National Elders Forum, and Museveni has handed over power to Humphrey, and then I say, but Museveni, how do you handle about this? I go to him, I visit him in Rwachetura and say, Museveni, how do you handle this? When you are there in office, how were you handling this matter? You get the point. So these are just a few things of manifesto. When you talk about manifesto, that is the manifesto I'm talking about. And in regards to corruption, my friend, let me tell you something. I have had very many people of this country, I have had so many Ugandans say, you can't fight corruption in Uganda. My friend, corruption in Uganda can be fought by just one phone call, by just one signature only. If the president indeed wants to fight corruption. But as long as Museveni is surviving because he has allowed the people he works with to keep on stealing every single coin, then corruption will not be fought. In my plan for corruption, I want to. Corruption is a disease. Allow me give you the strategies of fighting corruption. I have one or two serious ones, and I'm going to implement them as soon as I become the president. One, let us bring back life imprisonment for corruption. As long as you have been convicted, and proven beyond reasonable doubt that you have been engaged in an act of corruption, life imprisonment. Two? Wait, that is not yet complete. Life imprisonment means we are not going to take you to Luzira to go and eat our beans and portion. We need to construct a separate, simple prison for cases of corruption.
Because I want to cross back to
briefly. Then now, when you are there in that prison, you have to work for the government as you serve your life in imprisonment. You work for the government. There. That way, when you convict 3 people, corruption will not be there in this country. Second one is, we have seen, the NRM is so good at giving projects, money, a lot of billions for these and these projects. Recently, we had the coffee saga, coffee saga. A lot of billions was given to that. Now, when the money was given, people woke up so late. You mean this money was given for coffee like this, and the money has been swindled? Do you know? The problem is one. I want to change the approach of awarding public contracts. If, for example, we want to construct a football stadium somewhere, okay, as government, this is what we would do. Let contractors apply, bid. It's okay. Okay, this is so and so construction company. Do you have the capacity to construct the stadium? This is how we want it to appear like. Do you have the capacity? Yes. We don't give you the money there and then. No. You either use your money, or we are going to give the money, put the money, take the money from the treasury and put it in post bank. Now this is what happens. Okay. You go finish your construction should be in phases. Phase 1, you said phase 1 you are going to level the ground. And this should be the duration, this is the amount. Then if you finish that, we come evaluate. After evaluation, then we pay you for that first phase. Then you like that. You pay people in phases.
Okay. I'm going to get back to you shortly. Let me engage in Mr. Maseruka. I believe you've been able to tell us more about your manifesto. Of course, there is a lot that we need to hear, but exactly. I'll get back to you after that. Mr. Maseruka, yes. Have you been answered to the to the issues that you raised?
I don't want to become a moderator of this show because I also have views to pass over, but it is my first time meeting Mr. Humphrey. I believe that with subsequent engagements I'll be able to know what is in his manifesto and what he would like to run, how he would like to run this country as a young person and as a Ugandan. Well, I would make my submissions on the issues of the roadmap to the 2026 elections.
Yes.
You made a very touching point whereby you said that the youth, women, vulnerable or marginalized sections of the people, which I find it is insulting, especially to me. I don't believe that I'm marginalized. That
but you're a youth.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't believe that I'm marginalized. And in that regard, we are painfully, as the Youth League of the ANT, we are going to the Constitutional Court, by the way, is to challenge the issue and first of all to seek for the interpretation of the word marginalized. The young people really, women, marginalized, and if they are not, they should tell us now why should we be given that preferential treatment as if we are a particular section of people like the endangered species. We are not. We're the majority in this country, and we must exercise that, and we must be given the leeway not to be caged into a certain section of people that really need affirmative action. We do not need that.
We are always lamenting, okay, we are always saying we are the biggest population in Uganda.
Yes.
And being the biggest population, we are not even we are not coming out to air out our views to be worked on, and then we'll be there in hiding and then lamenting our issues are not being
but I'm telling you the steps we are taking to clearly show that we are not marginalized, and whereas you want to push us in a certain section, because
most of us are like, let's wait for them to do this for us, and then we'll come in later, and then this and that.
Yes, it is because of the social construct that if the day they will declare that there are no youth councils or structures for electing youth MPs, you will see the number of young people that will go for elections. You see the number of young people that will contest for the constituencies. You will see the number of women that will contest with the men if there is no women councils. You will see that because they will always when you come for elections to stand with the old people, they will tell you, but you guys, you have your county section. Why are you frustrating us here?
And then we are the same people who are saying twetagawo ka section akafe akasobola okwongera ensonga.
I am not part of that section. That's why I'm saying I need an interpretation on what the framers of the Constitution meant by saying that I am marginalized. Surely, a young person with a degree, a young person is not marginalized.
Sorry to cut you short. We've had young people saying, abaliyo tebasobola tegera nsonga zetuluma. There is a lot we are going on as the young people, but abaliyo tebajja tuteeseza nsonga ngaffe bwe twagala zibeera.
Very, very perfect. And that's what I'm saying.
And then now
remove women councils.
And
remove the seat for women
youth
MPs.
leaders.
Yes, remove the position of youth MPs. Remove the positions for women MPs. Let we all compete and see the number of women that will be in parliament. So you mean if I am a constituency MP representing the women, I specifically forget that I am a woman, that I will only have to talk about issues of the constituency, not issues affecting the women. If I am a youth, I'm around 25 or 26 years, and I am the constituency MP, you mean I will be now forgetting that I'm not a youth? The issue is hypocrisy. This country belongs to all of us. Let we have fair competition, let we all go in the arena, and you will see, it will just work out. Nature will sort these things out. Let we do away with the National Youth Council. We are funding the National Youth Council. Onto whose benefit? And how many policies, how many views, how many projects and programs for the young people are coming out from the National Youth Council that is budgeted for every year? Apart from electing themselves to the district councils and the National Youth Council, there is nothing that is beneficial to the young people. So we have a roadmap that we should actually now critically look at these things and work in the existing legal framework. The existing legal framework says that to contest as a president, you must be between the age of 18 until even if you are 100 years or plus. Now the question is, how many young people are in position to fit into that section and contest? Humphrey is one of them. We say that, yes, since you opened up, I am coming. We are saying we want to eradicate the positions of the youth MPs. And we are going to court, seeking for interpretation of that section, by the way.
So, oyagala bwe tuba tulwana ffenna tulwanire wamu.
Yes.
Oba mukadde oba muvubuka ffenna tulwanire wamu.
Kyennyini ekyo, actually, okirese bulungi, nti abavubuka, abantu bonna, tekikufuula wanjawulo olw'okuba nti oli muvubuka. Tekitegeeza nti endowooza yekyuka olw'okuba nti ebizibu ebikuluma byawukana oba bikyuka olw'okuba nti oli muvubuka. Ate n'abantu b'okiikirira, era bw'ogenda okusanga eri mu constituency, nti ogenda kugamba nti omuvuzi wa bodaboda yalonda constituency MP. Era gwe youth MP, era obeera MP we, nakugambye nti tulina National Female Youth MP. Bwetuba nga tugamba tulina National Female Youth MP, alina okulwaninga akalulu nga alwaninga aka president.
Naye tumukubeko akalulu tugambe nti ono ayito ajja tubulire manifesto ye.
Kyekyo
tumukubeko akalulu oba ayito batayita.
Then okugamba nti tuzimba structures zitategerekeka, then tutuke ku national bagende mu delegates conference bakole bye baagala. Those are prone to manipulation. Era tulabye, era tukitesitinzeeko webabanga baali balaba nti abavubuka beetaaga eddoboozi ery'enjawulo. Twali grateful ekiseera ekyo. Naye mu kaseera kano akaliwo essaawa eno, abavubuka tebakyali marginalized. Abavubuka beesobola, abavubuka basobola competinga n'omuntu yenna mu kifo kyonna era mu mbeera yonna. Ensonga lwaki mu kalulu akaasembayo twalina candidate ng'abavubuka eyesembayo kuba president. Titwamuwagira oba tiyafuna buwagizi bwaffe.
Now that is where I was going, because twafuna eyavaayo nga bavubuka. Na tulaga nti abavubuka naffe tusobola. Unfortunately, we holding the biggest population in the country. Tutamuwana buwagizi. Natafuna at least half.
Kanziremu kye nakugambye luli. Nakugambye nti mu America waliyo omusajja mukadde, is a Democrat. Bamuyita Bernie Sanders. Abavubuka besimbawo ne Bernie Sanders ne yesimbawo. Ne Bernie Sanders ebigira ku nsonga z'abaki z'abavubuka. Era abavubuka bagenda ku line ne balonda Bernie Sanders mu Democratic Party. Naye nga bamanyi nti alina emyaka meka atambulira na kuki olw'ensonga nti bw'akola manifesto ye eyogera ku bintu ebiruma abavubuka oba ensonga ez'abavubuka. Tekimala nti kuba nti oli muvubuka ffe tukuwagire fwa. On'okujja n'ensonga nga nazo z'abavubuka. Kakati candidate yaliwo ensonga ki yaleeta y'abavubuka.
Because for the women era owuliddeko nga bagamba katumulonde kwa mukyala munnaffe. Katumulonde kwa mukyala munnaffe. And for the youth tetulonda abavubuka bannaffe.
No, ye ensobi gye tukoze nti obeera n'ekifo kye twateekawo to empower women. N'abeerako for 20, 30, n'atuuka ku retiringa mu politics ng'akyali seeking affirmative action. No, tetukulonda because otufaanana. Tukulonda nti lwakubanga ne woba otufaanana olina ensonga ezaffe z'okola ki z'otambuza.
There is a comment here, government. Affirmative politics was somehow used for 15 years, but now some politicians have taken the positions as their career offices.
True. I agree, and I am empathetic about this. We ask ourselves, are we really marginalized? Can I personally find myself in a section of people that are saying that I'm marginalized? I am not. But why should I be pushed in that section that I'm marginalized? Because there is a law that says that youth are marginalized in this country. And now we also move around that with the youth, we should be given. No, we as people of the Republic of Uganda, we should contest equally on all positions. We lose and we see if there is no youth MP seat, if there is no woman MP seat, whether that parliament will have only men that are 50 years and above. It won't be possible. As
we have a few minutes to come to the end of the show, so back to the topical discussion, the youth preparedness ahead of the 2026 elections. Are we prepared as the young people?
I don't know the kind of preparedness that we are talking about, but in terms of being politically conscious, in terms of understanding where the dilemma our country is facing at the moment and where we want to take our country, I believe the young people have risen up and they are growing in numbers. The only challenge that we are still having is the few elements of one, radicalization, whereby young people have radicalized positions that they do not have to, they should have to harmonize with the current people. Because even though you want to replace, for instance, your father, there is a way you approach him in a respectable manner. So we find ourselves that the radical approach has created a stagnation in the movement of growth of the young people. Secondly, we have moved from the position of seeking for favors. That's why we are saying we do not need a favor to be a youth MP. We need favors to be MPs. Put the ballot boxes there. So we are looking or preparing ourselves in a direction that we are capable and ready to run this country from the word go. Secondly, when you look at the roadmap, we in political parties, especially in ANT, we have started identifying who are those that are willing to take various positions, and who are those that are willing to contest. And I would like to invite Humphrey to come and visit us. Maybe he may find a home in the ANT, because yes, I see him as a progressive man, and with the synergies and working together, you may never know. We may say that as the youth league, this is our candidate for
presidential candidate.
For presidential candidate. So they bring theirs. We tussle it out in the delegates conference, but that is by the way. So we are galvanizing and informing people that want to contest to come now to show their interest. We are also moving in the direction of saying that there is a lot of commercialization in politics. How are we using our little resources and our availability and our time to be there in our constituencies? Okay, let me go through some of the comments. Thank you so much, our viewers. Mwesige Joram Chenjejo, thank you so much for watching. Nachaine Rita, Jeno Olanya Oleng, thank you so much for watching. Someone asked a question here: how is he different from Katumba Oye? Did you hear of Katumba Oye?
Yes, please.
Okay, so someone is asking how different you are, but also there is a comment here. Mwesige Joram says, the moment you put it in your head that EC can have the mercy to appeal to your peaceful interests, then you have a problem. You even don't understand what you are talking about. You said they are rebels. Then you say rebels, the Electoral Commission in brackets, are human beings. A broken system can't function. That is what that is the comment here. So you're going to be responding to these comments. Yes. Then there's another comment that says Chris wants to run. How is he going to handle the issue of broken economy and human rights? True. And also another comes in and says NRM politics is making Ugandans marginalized. The fees charged by Electoral Commission and the monetization of politics by NRM is a hell for youth. You cannot run in that environment.
So I'm supposed to.
You can respond, and then I'll give you.
Yeah. One, I want to start with the aspect of economy. I told you I am a patriot, and I believe in a thriving economy. One, As president, I told you, as president, one thing I want to do for the economy of this country is that, do you believe that agriculture is the backbone of our economy? Yes?
I do.
Thank you. Now, in regards to economy, one thing I want to push for it is, I want us as government, so that we leave, you know, our traders. We need to leave our traders. Let us tax them, but, you know, something else. That means if we are to tax our traders at a fairer, you know, rate, as government, we need to look for other ways, our alternatives of getting what? Revenue. Okay? Now, one thing I want to do is, I want every foreign company operating in this country, we are going to buy shares in those foreign companies. So that there are two things we are getting from there. As government, we are doing business, okay? So if they make losses, we make losses. If they make profits, we make profits. At the same time, we are going to tax them, okay? That is one thing for economy. Our economy is going to thrive. Two, we need to understand that agriculture is the backbone of our economy. If I were president, okay, I wouldn't have bought the idea of oil exploration at the moment. Do you know why? Because as a country, we do not have the capacity to exploit the oil. We don't have the capacity. When you read and understand what covers the entire oil exploration that is happening in the country at the moment, we are operating at a loss. All the money is being taken away by the foreign companies. You understand? That means as a country...
Mr. Chris, sorry to cut you short. Due to time, I'm going to give you a few minutes.
Yes, please.
To answer all these comments, to sum up like the comments, and we come to the end of the show.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Then...
Someone asked how different you are from Katuma.
Exactly. How different I am from Katuma is that one thing I want the people to know is that Katuma is a good friend of mine. He has shown the young people that Chisoboka, okay? Yeah. However, I am different from him in one aspect. I am coming with ideas, okay? For the times of being here, we have spoken ideas. We have spoken about the economy. We have spoken about how our health system is crippled. One thing I want to talk about the education system before I go, because that one will answer the aspect of unemployment. Young people are crying and are dying of unemployment in the country. And then I have seen presidential hubs. Mr. Museveni has said, you know, presidential hubs to skill people. And now, do you know the people who go to be skilled? These are people who have failed to go to school. Myself has failed to go to school before I become skilled. So we need vocational trainings right from the word go. I start school, I know how to cut timbers. You get the point. By the time this thing should be incorporated in the education system.
New curriculum by that.
It should be incorporated. Then what about the other one? As the new curriculum started working, I saw they have started. It has started working fine, but then did we need to wait for 38 years to start that? You get the point. We didn't need. So besides that we need young people we need the vocational training to be incorporated. Vocational training to be incorporated in the entire education system, right from the word go. So that as long as we still have the current education system where our children can complete primary 7 and they are unemployable, then we will keep on crying of unemployment season after season. Even if someone else becomes the president and doesn't change that thing, that is going to be the order of the day.
What message are you leaving for the Ugandans, and what should we expect of you? Because I believe we'll have you some other time.
Oh, one message I want to tell the people of Uganda is that this is a new beginning. Okay? Do not lose hope. We are still here together. The long-awaited time has come for us to build our country, for us to bring back the Uganda we have always fought for. I am here on behalf of the tears of the spirits of those that liberated this country in Luwero. That Uganda was a beautiful Uganda, but unfortunately what we live for now is not that Uganda, but we still have the capacity, we have the hope, be the Kadogos of the 1986, so that we liberate this country once again. We are not going to be reactionary. We are not going to throw insults at people. We are going to challenge the elders. We are going to challenge the current government with ideas. Okay? Do not vote me because I am young. vote me because I have the ideas, I have something to bring on table.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chris. Mr. Maseruka, your closing remarks.
Well, I would like to urge all young people there to look for where they can contest in any position. Anywhere you feel that you are able to serve, don't be threatened, don't be intimidated by any, because even now the law is on our side. By the age of 18, you must, you have the capacity to contest, apart from the position of the LC5 chairperson, that is still at the age of 30. But I would like to also inform the public that we are in the NT. We are moving, and we are making sure that the manifesto that we put out in the 2021 general election with limited or no capacity in terms of state infrastructure, we are moving towards implementing some of those things. We told the people that we are going to build a structure and a value-based political party. We are on that road, and we shall in the due course be declaring or telling you our next course of action regarding how far we have moved in structure building. It has taken us almost 2 years, but as we are gearing or moving towards the 2026 general elections, we are going to unveil to the country the substantive structures that we have, the structures that are actually there, not the registered number of people that we have physically interacted or had a discussion with, that profess and have the ideals of the political party. The Youth League, we are calling up whoever would like to contest in the upcoming elections to show interest now and be in position to be identified, nurtured, and be helped or supported in their course of action towards the 2026 elections. Also, we have programs that will be running regarding the identification training and also mapping and zoning in positions where we can ably participate as the young people. Yes, it may be painful, but it may be also helpful to tell you that as a young person, you can contest in this constituency and not the other one, so that you can be in position to secure a win. I think that one is, it may not be out of bad faith, but it will be in the interest of strategy and interest of the party, and also for the greater good of this country. So I thank the Alternative Digital for the opportunity, for ever hosting me here. I'm very grateful, and wish you guys a very nice day.
Okay, thank you so much. Our panelists for the day, Mr. Maseruka said they are coming. There is a lot that they want to talk about that is happening in the country. So we'll be waiting for you as the young people. We would wish to hear from you guys. What is it you have to say to what is going on in the country right now? There is a lot that we've not been able to talk about, but I believe we'll have them some other time, and then they put more light on certain things, especially Mr. Chris is here to tell us more about what he's going to do for the Ugandans come 2026, more about his manifesto. There is a lot he didn't tell us, but we'll have him some other time to elaborate more on certain issues. I am Princess Luwedde Lilian. I want to thank you, our viewers, for always keeping it the Alternative Digital. Thank you so much for those who have commented. Thank you so much for those who have shared, for those who have been on, and to our YouTube family. Thank you so much for always watching and waiting on to our shows. Thank you so much for the great work you're doing. This is the Alternative Digital, real issues, real talk. I thank the team that we've worked with, Bernard on camera, and then Mr. Mokosi and Anthony in the control room. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Good morning.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.